everybody. Welcome to my workshop. My name is Lucia. I am the Administrative Secretary for TRIO Student Support Services. The workshop today is called TRIO Presents Protect Your Identity, How to Avoid Identity Theft, and Tips if it happens to you. So, inspiration behind the workshop. So, when I was studying abroad, I made a lot of friends who actually got their identity stolen over there, and they got a lot of money stolen. So I was like, well, this could be such a good workshop to those who are interested in studying abroad and kind of know what are the necessary steps to take when you're abroad and know what to do when you're over there if you get your identity or like you get credit card fraud. And also, during the summer, I had one of my best friends call me saying that she got a police officer called her and saying like, hey, like I'm so officer and I just want to double check if this is like your correct social security number, if this is like your correct address, and blah, 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 blah. So when she said yes, next thing you know, within like 2 hours later, she got like $4,000 stolen. So I'm going to give you really good tips. But before I start, has anybody in here have gotten their identity stolen? You have?
Before I started working, somebody in like Maryland was using my social security number to work in the U.S.
Oh, really? How did you find out?
I forgot what it was. I think I was applying for like something where I had to check my credit, or I got a notice from the IRS saying like that I owed taxes in the state of like Maryland, but I was like 15 at the time, so I wasn't working and I hadn't owed the amount of money that they told me.
So you didn't have to do.
No, they just filed. Or I think my mom did it at the time because
but you're 15.
But I think she just had to file a claim with the IRS, so they had to like suspend my social security for a little bit, and then they took all his stuff off because I guess it was a guy.
With your name?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
You'll be surprised. Like people don't care. Who in here has gotten credit card scam?
I feel like I haven't, but I feel like I
happen.
do. Like even though like I carry my wallet and stuff, like I just feel that point where like somebody could just really open my, like when I'm walking to class, somebody could just open it and steal it, you know. But I have that feeling, I just haven't.
So who in these, well at least if it's not you, who knows somebody that's this happened to?
Yeah, so my boyfriend called me like the next day. He's like, I'm really nervous. I was like, why? He's like, a police officer was going to come and give me my money. And right off the bat, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, that doesn't sound right. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was telling me, he's like, a woman called me, said she had a badge number and had my social security and everything, and said that someone was scamming him and like you opening accounts in his name and owing money. And so they're like, yeah, they have a warrant out for you. And he's not a citizen, so he got really scared. And he's like, and they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, listening to everything. And then he's like, yeah, he's like, they made me get my money out in like gift cards. What? And give it to him, give it to them. And so he did. He's like, I didn't cash my check, thank God. He's like, so that was the leftover money, but it was like almost $8,000 just kind of like right there.
Wow.
They were like, oh yeah, the next day someone's gonna come and like give you back your money, and like it never happened. It literally happened, I think maybe about 2 months ago. Yeah, it's wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like a lot of people like they do this as a living, like as well.
When I worked in financial aid and student employment, I had a student who actually applied for a job, ASU student applied for a job, and it was for buy stuff for me, and then I'll pay you later type stuff. So they were asking them for like, let me have your account number and all this stuff, and then they were saying, also I'm going to send you a check right before she even started working. I'm going to send you a check for like $2,000. Cash the check, give me half of it back, or give me a certain amount back. You get to keep the rest, and then you could buy the stuff that I need you to buy, and then we'll call it even. So then she actually cashed this check. It bounced, so the bank came after her, asking for all this money, and the student didn't have any money because she thought it was a legitimate check. So it was pretty sad.
Yeah, you guys be careful. I mean, like, my sister, she's a fraud specialist, and it's crazy that what people would do to like steal money. Like, she was calling, like, hey, is this so? They're like, yes, I am, and it turns out that the guy she was calling was dead 5 years ago, but he was pretending to be that dead guy, stealing his identity. So when I'm telling you, even when you're dead, we're gonna steal your identity.
So what would you suggest? Burn everything?
Burn everything.
I would burn it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and explain to you guys what identity theft is. So identity theft involves the use of illegally obtained information about you, such as your name, your birthday, your social security number, credit card numbers, and more. And like I said, like your address and things like that. And they use all this information about you to use existing credit accounts and open new ones in your name. When this happens to you, criminals capture the spending power of your credit while you get stuck with the bill. And it's kind of like what you explained with the student, Ralph. So perfect example. So when identity theft goes along with credit card fraud, because a lot of people do that to get money out of you. So what is credit card fraud? Is when someone uses your credit card or credit account to make a purchase you did not authorize. If you lose your credit card or have it stolen, it can be used to make purchases or even transactions either in person or online. So, which is crazy. So somebody can get your card and they can take pictures of it and do a transaction and you wouldn't even notice, which is like the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Fraudsters can also steal your credit card account number, PIN, and security code to make unauthorized transactions without needing your physical credit card. So that's what I was just talking about. Unlawful transactions like these are known as card not present fraud. So I'm gonna start talking about like different tips that you guys could do to avoid identity theft / credit card fraud. So don't give out your personal information just to anyone. There are a lot of scammers and identity thieves out there who would pretend to be a debt collector, bank, charity, or local business in order to convince you to give out your social security number, street address, date of birth, or any information that they can use. They would call you, email you, and send you mail, so you be diligent in reviewing any of the above communication. So, I mean, that's just half of the people that would pretend, but some of them, like I said, they might pretend to be cops. And like when they're cops, you're like, well, I mean, it's a cop, I need to give them my phone number, but it's rare if a police officer calls you, and like always check the ID when like if a police officer calls you, because they would never call you when it's like an unknown number.
Well, people also pretend to be like the IRS.
The
Or
IRS.
if you take out student loans,
Mhm.
they'll pretend to be like student loan collectors. So it's important to know like what accounts you have so that you know who should be contacting you about certain
Yeah,
things.
and any information I give out, I want you guys to jump in, so like the more we know, the better, because I mean, it's just me talking right now, but like Gabby, jump in, and any information that you guys have, it's better, because there's so much to this, and I'm just like a small portion talking about this.
The IRS will never call you.
Oh
There it
yeah.
is, the IRS will never
And
call
it's
you.
hard to even contact them, so
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
even by email or like by,
Mhm.
yeah.
Tip number 2, avoid clicking on links you're unsure about. Fraudsters are really good at attracting your attention through emails that look like they come from businesses or people you know. So don't ever assume just because you know the name of the person sending the email, it's actually them. So double check emails all the time. It often seems off, like about an email, they're asking you to click to a link to an offer or action. Don't click on that link. Instead, roll over to that link with your mouse and you can see the destination, the URL that you will be sent to. This is a safer approach and can help you avoid malware, phishing scams, or viruses to gather your data. If it turns out fake, you can let the businesses know that so they can warn others. So sometimes, like let's say H&M, there's like a fake business pretending to be H&M, and if you know that they might be like the fake ones, like let them know, because like it's important to them, because sometimes they might lose business and they might lose customers. So what's up?
I get several emails a day. Like it's repetitive and it's crazy, but it's always from Walmart, Redbox, even though I don't have an account with Redbox. my
Yeah,
mother
see, like
does.
things like that, when
So-
you never register or like you never
Mhm.
sign up with them.
And then Amazon Prime,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't have either, so just be very like aware of your accounts, and even if you're like, oh, if it's kind of like for something for school, make an account and you'll get something, just make sure you write it down even if you don't use it, or disable that account, because it'll kind of come back to you and be like, hey, Corner Bakery came, you want a credit card? And you're like,
Let's see. Shred your documents. Using a shredder can take extra time, but that adds a layer of protections down the road. While many people are opting for email or text alerts for bill notification, identity thieves still use dumpster diving as a way to gather your personal information.
We have shredders in the office that you guys can.
Yeah, I was about to tell you guys, we have a lot of shredders in the office.
So I
you guys
can
are-
literally bring my stack
Yeah,
of papers
you can
and
bring a
sh-
stack of
okay,
papers and-
there's.
Yeah, you
even
can
though I
shred
don't
them.
have
The shredders are there for you guys, so. You can also shred your credit cards there, so you don't have to cut them with scissors, you can just
Oh,
shred
wow,
them.
yeah, that's true. Or CDs.
Tip number 4, don't carry your social security card. You rarely need to show that card,
Yes.
you just need to remember the number.
Right.
One mistake of losing the card can lead to a lifetime of trouble.
Oh my god.
Keep your social security card in a safe place at home or in a deposit box.
Yes, I know a lot of people that actually carry those social, like, it's ridiculous,
It's-
like, oh, they're like, this is the thing, this is the time, oh yeah, I carry it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, sign it, don't forget to sign it, because I'm like, first of all, whether you sign it or not, you should be leaving that thing at your house. You're
Yeah.
25 years old. and you
Usually
should
the
be-
social security cards are
Social.
used when you're trying to
It's
open like an account,
ridiculous.
like a new phone, and things like that. It's rare for you to use a social
Phyllis, what's
security
a
card.
deposit box?
Deposit box. So correct me if I'm wrong. So a deposit box is the things that you kind of have at home where you kind of like store your like precious items, right?
Well, you
Yeah,
could buy one.
It could be, but
Yeah.
it's also in a bank.
In a
So you
bank.
could actually, like, for $20,
Yeah.
you could
A
get
year.
a safety deposit box, and you can put all your stuff, all your valuables in there,
I do.
and it's in the bank.
See? Yeah, I did not. I was not
It's in
aware
the
of that.
safe of the bank.
That doesn't only mean your social, like your gold.
Everything, yeah, whatever you
Your
want to
favorite
put.
shoes.
I mean, they're gonna tell you, like, in the safe deposit box,
Things
you
that are
can't
gonna
have
be
cash or anything of X amount of value, things like that, but nobody listens.
Yeah,
I use like all my birth certificates, passports,
Yeah, because you know
Things
things
like
could
that.
happen where like your house could get on fire or it could be robbed,
Yeah,
and like you don't want to have those things like in your household, but you could go in your bank and you could at least feel a little bit calm
Yeah,
that
a little
you
bit
had
safer.
Yep.
Tip number 5, only only carry credit cards that you actually need daily. There's no need to carry extra cards. I see some people with some big wallets and it's just filled of different cards that they
Oh
don't
my
need.
god.
So
Don't
don't
judge
carry
me.
those because I mean if you lose it, you
Literally.
lose a lot in there. Protect your mailbox. This is this old school theft is still common today, especially around tax return time. When checks start showing up in the mail, if you can lock your mailbox, do so or add like a key lock if possible. You may also want to consider having smaller packages delivered to your work address so you receive them during the day versus having them left unattended on your porch. If you're going to be gone for a while, consider placing a hold on your mail with the U.S. Postal Services.
yeah, and you can do that downstairs.
Yeah, so
Upstairs.
upstairs.
You can do it online too on their website.
Yeah,
7, monitor your online accounts. If you haven't set up account notifications from the financial institutions with whom you do business, then do so. Staying up to date on changes to your account is important, and a quick notification to send to your smart device can make all the difference in maintaining a peace of mind. There's also plenty of products out there that provide credit and identity monitoring. Experience CreditWorks is one of them.
there's also a free annual credit report that you can run for free. And it has it's for all 3 of the credit card companies, or the
Credit bureaus.
credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And what I recommend you do is that you do a free one for like Equifax, and then you wait 6 months, and then you do one for TransUnion, and then you wait another 6 months, and you do it for the other one. So
Yeah.
that you can just keep on doing it for free.
And if you want to monitor it regularly, something like Credit Karma is nice because they don't actually run the reports. They kind of just simulate your scores based on like your credit accounts, your cards. like-
Also,
And like Credit
can you use
Karma,
Credit
like
Karma?
there's
Yeah,
there's the app
Credit Karma
and
is free, that one doesn't like affect your credit.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
like every 3-4 weeks.
yeah, and also Credit Karma, like for example for me, I mean we're all students, so I took out student loans, and like it lets me know that I took out student loans. So that right there,
Oh, I
Credit
should
Karma
try
will let
that
you
out
know.
because I don't even know.
Another
My
thing too
credit.
is that like if you go with the regular bank, like Wells Fargo, somebody, they also have a way to look at your, like your FICO score.
Your credits too?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Oh,
free.
I didn't know that. Definitely. gonna-
Number 8, create strong passwords. Avoid using the same passwords across multiple sites as well. So it's better to keep like a little notebook and keep like different passwords and like different usernames as well, not just passwords for like different things that you guys have.
Yeah, I know that as an ASU, as an ASU like student worker, I know when I first came in and Trio Luis was like, yeah, you're gonna have to change your password. So I literally created like this 20-word password, and then ever since then, like I know they just recently sent us a reminder to change it again, so it does change. But even if you're not a student worker, I do really suggest,
And,
even
like,
though it's so ridiculous long.
And even sometimes like
Better.
whatever account you're making, they tell you like make sure you use this key letter or make sure you add all these
Oh,
types of
yeah.
numbers and things like that.
Yep.
So the more different the password looks, the better. Number 9, use the two-factor authentication. This tool adds a layer of security to your online accounts in addition to your password. Two-factor authentication requires you to provide a second piece of proof to verify your identity, which can mean entering a code sent to your smartphone or computer, and many institutions require it when customers want to change account details. So,
Okay, so there's a website called TwoFactor, I think it's twofactor.com, Two-Factor Authentication, and it lists all of the companies that offer two-factor, so like Google does. It'll tell you like which mail services don't like it. Yahoo does too, I know that's old. But I mean, and it tells you which ones don't too. So also the banks that don't do it, any other companies that don't do it, so that you could at least be aware that, hey, this is not really secure, not the best security available, or you can look for the ones that are really secure with two-factor authentication.
thank you, Ralph. Next, don't use public Wi-Fi to access sensitive data. We all seem to want to be connected all the time, so using free public Wi-Fi is very tempting. It's not always safe though. Hackers and others can set up their own free Wi-Fi network and scrap your data as a result. Make sure the network you're connected to is secure and can be trusted. If you're not sure, then don't take the chance at all and then just wait.
Do your homework later.
Number 11, check your credit report regularly, like you guys were talking about, to ensure all data is accurate and that nobody has open accounts under your name. Make sure to check each of your credit reports at least yearly. You can get your Experian, TransUnion, Equifax credit reports for free, annualcreditreports.com.
That's the one I was talking about.
There we go, so you read my mind. If possible, pull one report every 4 months so that you're looking at your reports throughout the year. If you notice a problem, make sure to dispute it with the lender and the bureau. At Experian, you can get an additional free copy of your Experian credit report and dispute anything inaccurate on your credit report online. Number 12, cut up old credit cards. This is for if you guys don't have a shredder. But it's important to destroy any old credit cards and any cards that have personal information about you or your family members that could easily be used to identify, identity for thieves, could be used by identity thieves. Every little detail about you can be used to build a synthetic identity, piecing together the information needed to open up a credit card under your name. So, shred those up, please. Number 13, shop online with trusted sites. Using a secure and trusted websites to shop online can help further protect your personal and credit card information when you purchase items. So for example, if you're shopping on a website, make sure that there's an HTTPS before the URL instead of just an HTTP. So I know a lot of us Gen Zs, we like to use like Twitter and like Instagram, and like these people have like sell their own products and stuff, but always double check the HTTPS on the URL and stuff like that.
And also, some of them on the bottom of their website will have like the Better Business Bureau.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's sketchy, if you have a sketchy feeling, don't use it.
Yeah.
Don't feel like me.
Yeah, so avoid them if you can. Number 14, don't overshare on social networks. That advice seems like an oxymoron these days, but identity thieves will often scan social networks for personal information to piece together identities. Never post any personal information, location data, and even what items are included in the picture, like a credit card on a table that you can share. trust me, like you might post like a little picture and there's just gonna be those people who are gonna zoom into that picture and then just start typing away. Also make sure social media accounts like Facebook are not viewable by people you don't know. Number 15, don't respond to unsolicited requests. If someone you don't know asks for personal information such as like your name, birthday, social security number, bank account number by phone, mail, or online, just say no. Number 16, consider freezing or locking your credit. A credit freeze would not affect your credit score, but it will prevent your credit report from being accessed by lenders and used to do many things, including opening new accounts, renting apartments, or applying for loans. If you need to do any of these things, then you'll have to temporarily suspend your credit freeze. You can also request an extend fraud alert from the consumer's credit bureaus if you have filed a police report, which lasts for 7 years.
So this is something you do by like, if something bad happened to you, or
No.
you could just do it like?
You could
You
just
can
do
do
it
it
because you
anytime.
want to. So you could be like, hey, I'm not gonna get any credit cards for 2 or 3 years. I'm gonna freeze my account so that nobody has access to it. And it doesn't hurt anything. All you gotta do is contact those 3 reporting agencies, the Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax. And they have like forms that you can.
Yeah, and they work together too. Those 3 bureaus
Yeah.
work
I
together.
won't do that though because I
So-
won't
It's
get much
good.
money.
It's really
It's
good.
good. So like for example, if you go abroad for like 4 months or like for a year, you can like consider locking in your credit so nothing happens.
Another thing too is that if you have brothers or sisters that are really young,
Yeah.
you can freeze that too. You can give them that information to the bureaus so that your brothers and sisters don't get scammed. Because like Gabby was 15 when she got scammed.
Yeah.
Wait,
I've
what?
seen them for years since I was like 10.
See,
Yeah.
then it would have been for a while. So even if they could get a hold of your
Just with my information?
no, your siblings.
Your
Oh.
siblings.
Siblings.
Siblings info and
So
stuff.
if for whatever reason, let's say your parents accidentally gave out that social security number
I'm about to freeze everything then.
and your siblings have it.
Mama, I'm sorry.
Brothers and sisters, you should freeze their accounts.
Yeah.
Because they're too young. They don't need it.
Yeah.
The other easy thing is to also just, I think now it's probably automatic, but I know at one point I had to opt in. Because even with your like debit card and all that, because I know at gas stations they can take your information by you not going inside and paying, like they.
Oh yeah, I don't do that.
Machines and stuff.
I'm not that.
But like
lazy.
literally set an alert to go off on your phone when your credit card and your debit card is being used. Because usually sometimes it's usually out of state too. So granted, sometimes it becomes an issue like when I travel and like when I went to Chicago, like my card didn't want to work because they're like, whoa, what are you doing in Chicago? You're from Arizona. Like this should not be happening. And then I had to call Chase and be like,
I
oh,
have
I'm
that.
traveling,
Yeah.
forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
But that at least gives me an alert. That's already happened twice where I've been here and it said that I was traveling. I'm like, no, do not approve that.
Yeah, I have that with my credit card.
Number 17, monitor billing cycles. If you start to notice your bills or financial statements are showing up late, then you should contact the lender or business to find out the reasons for the delay. Review your account statements and watch out for an authorized transaction. So I know for like, I have Bank of America and they always give it to me within like it's the last day or the first day of the new month. So always check your accounts. It doesn't hurt. You can literally take 5 minutes to look at all the transactions you made. And if they don't look familiar, make sure you call your bank. And then number 18, implement biometric options. When possible, you can include a fingerprint, a handprint, eye scan, or facial recognition to verify your identity rather than using a password or asking a series of questions that you have to remember when you input it when you set an account. So I know for PayPal, for example, obviously PayPal's used to send money to other people. I actually have like the face recognition instead of like me using the password, so I know I'm the only one that could use my PayPal. So
I have that too for my Chase.
so then number 19, keep up with the latest in ID theft. Pay attention to the news to know what the latest scams or breaches have taken place. Unfortunately, this has become too common, but being too complacent can lead to a mistake. Staying up to date can mean the difference in protecting your identity from the latest threat or identifying a scammer or thief down the road. So look at your news. On Instagram, I know we're all about technology. Follow like the news or like follow any like financial accounts or like credit like identity theft accounts, so you know.
You can even Google it. If there's numbers that like call you and they leave messages that sound like they could be true, I always just Google the numbers, and for the most part, they end up being fake, and there's already a record of like the same exact transcript of the call
Mhm.
or emails even.
So then, now I'm gonna talk about what to do if you're a victim, because credit card can happen at any time, even when your card's still safely in your wallet. It's important to monitor all your credit accounts regularly. If you discover someone has made unauthorized charges on your credit card account, you should immediately contact the credit card company. Many have zero liability policies, meaning you won't be responsible for any fraudulent charges made on your account. What's more, federal law limits your liability for fraudulent credit card charges. If someone uses your lost or stolen credit card before you report it missing to the card issuer, you can only be held responsible for $50 or so of any fraudulent charge. If you report the loss before the credit card is used, you're not responsible for any charges, and nor are you liable just if it's just a card number that's stolen in use. Yes, Ralph?
So that is specifically for credit cards. So like if you're using your debit card, and your debit card got pulled out money, like $4,000, whatever, $1,000, it's gonna take a lot longer for, once you report it, to actually get your money, because there isn't a zero liability policy with debit
For
cards.
debit cards.
Yeah, so chances are you lost that money for a long period of time until the bank realizes, yeah, it was fraud, because that money is directly pulled out of your account. It's not like a credit card where the money is,
Yeah.
well, the bank actually gives out that money, and then the bank wants the money back.
Thank you, Ralph. Also, change your online passwords and PIN to prevent fraudsters from doing any further damage. Closely monitor account activity and consider contacting Experian to put an initial security alert on your credit report. This can be especially helpful if you're not sure how your information was compromised. Whichever credit bureau you contact will notify the other two major bureaus of your requests. Keep an eye on your bank statements. If you notice any signs of fraud, notify your bank immediately. Request a copy of your credit report. Often, signs of fraud such as new accounts you don't recognize will show up on credit card statements first, soon to follow in your credit reports. When you request a fraud alert, you will also get a copy of your credit report. And then also, did you know you can also get a free copy of your Experian credit report at any time too? If you believe you're a victim of identity theft, example for someone opened a credit card in your name, follow the steps that I just talked about, plus these steps as well. Add a fraud alert to your credit report by visiting Experian or the other two bureaus. If you find fraudulent accounts or inquiries on your credit report, contact each creditor directly to make them aware of the fraud. If you're a member of Experian, you would also have access to dedicated fraud resolution agent who will work with you to correct fraudulent information with your creditors. Consider reporting the theft by filing a police report and document all contacts you make with the credit bureaus, creditors, and authorities regarding the crime. You can also report identity theft to the Federal Trade Commission, which separately tracks identity crimes. If your wallet or purse is stolen, immediately notify your bank and credit card companies. And you should never carry your social security card with you. But in case if it's lost or stolen, contact the Social Security Administration and consider placing a fraud alert on your credit report. And then this is something that I learned throughout, but actually ASU's partnered with AllClear. So if you're a victim of identity theft, ASU offers a free AllClear ID guarantee for all current and retired employees, students, applicants, and your parents. So there's no cost to you.
I should have used that.
Yeah, so there's no cost to you. You're automatically covered and no sign up is required. AllClear does all the work to recover your losses and restore your credit. Yeah, this is pretty neat.
Where is it? At the bank?
No.
No?
No, it's online.
Oh, it's
So, if you believe you're a victim of fraud or identity theft, call AllClear ID customer service at 1-855-434-8077 and provide the ASU code ASU458, and yeah, that's
Send me
pretty
this
much it.
picture.
So you guys are all covered.
Yeah, and and then the nice thing, it's like your parents too,
I'm
and
shocked because I could have used this.
yeah, and this is the website that would take you specifically to learn more about that information. So
And this will be posted on the Trio Canvas, so you can also access the PowerPoint there.
so So
I just remember too, because as we were talking, when you first asked the question if I knew someone that like got like, you know, credit card stolen and stuff, my mom, literally like my mom for her birthday, like we just, because this was, her birthday's January, so my dad ended up buying her like a really nice Michael Kors bag, and it happened right in like our neighborhood, like where she went to go drop something off at the like laundry or store or whatever, and like it happened to happen so quickly that like people came and like broke, I don't know how they opened our truck and got my mom's purse, and they literally like took her credit cards, her ID and so on and so forth, and they like, she lost $30, but even then like my mom's been like a OG like Chase, she has a Chase account where like she doesn't have to pay anything, because I know now we pay. Yeah, no, she didn't have that, and then she lost it, so now she had to make like a whole new different thing, and I didn't know about this, so now I know.
Before I'm done, I just wanted to let you guys know, like if that happens to you, make sure like any fraud or identity theft, make sure you're always following up, because you might call and then they're gonna take care of it, and sometimes it gets lost in between everything. So make sure you're always following up. And then another thing before I'm done, it happens a lot in Europe, but one of the students just told me that it happens here. She went to the bank, not the bank, she went to the gas station, and she paid like right there by the gas thing.
Pump.
And when she put in the card and she took it out, within like a few hours, somebody had already stolen money from her. And it turns out that the little machine where she placed the card, a lot of people put another machine on top of it and stole everything from that. So be careful with that. Pay inside the store when you're paying for gas.
Or just look at the
thing-
gas pump.
Another thing too is that you can, get iPhones, you can pay with your phone, and if you have, I forget what it's
Apple
called.
Pay?
Well, Apple Pay too, yeah, so if they have Apple Pay on the actual pump, you can do that too, and that's secure as well. Another thing too is that if you don't use your debit number, your PIN number, use credit, even though it's a debit card, use credit and use your zip code. That'll keep the PIN number away from the people.
Thank you, Ralph. Any more questions?
Well, this is more for like the future in general, but there have been like a lot of wire fraud, especially with real estate. So this might apply to more like in the future when you guys buy houses, or anyone buys houses. Someone will, like hackers might keep track of their the victim's email to see like how close they are to closing the deal, and then when it comes like close to closing time, when they're supposed to like wire massive amounts of money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, they'll send them like a fake email saying, oh, actually we've changed our wire address to this, please wire here. So they sometimes lose like their entire like house's worth of money because they thought that was the legitimate address. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Just yeah.
But even realtors have been scammed.
yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you guys learned a lot. So thanks for coming.
Yes.